This movie is awful. It's so bad that it ruined Mario for me. I wanted a 1-to-1 Galaxy adaptation. 0 out of 10. Ah! Wow. Glad I'm not that guy. So yes, I had watched the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I gotta say, there was certainly a Mario, and there were a lot of galaxies. Too many galaxies, if you get me. Galaxy 2. The joke is Galaxy 2. There really is a lot I want to cover when it comes to this movie, so there will be many spoilers. But if you must really need an opinion of this movie from a Mario fan like me without any spoilers, I will refer to you to this quote from my previous video covering the trailers. Yeah, good. Now, it's worth noting that this was my joke response to the trailers, and it's a little scary that it pretty much sums up my genuine feelings for this film. But of course, it's a little more complicated than that. So let me try to break down my thoughts because there are plenty. But first things first. Music? Amazing. Visuals? Stunning. Vibes? Fun. References? Many. Plot? No. I pretty much hit the nail on its head when I suspected the pacing would still be breakneck. Once again, we move from set piece to set piece. And in this film, it comes with a cost to many plot devices, characters, and elements. The way things move around in this film feel practically convenient. Like, oh, Peach and Toad need to know Rosalina's whereabouts? Good thing that this Ukiki stole Toad's backpack and led them to Wart. Bowser is now stuck slaving for bees? Good thing Junior immediately found him. The gang's stuck in Fossil Falls. Good thing Luigi played truck driver with a random radio, and it transmitted all the way to the observatory, and the radio's in the library, and the Lumas are still there, and they're able to hear it, and they can drive the observatory, and they somehow know they're in Fossil Falls? And this one gets more nutty when you think about it. I'm not going to complain about having many places to show off, but if you're not going to have your character struggle a little bit in a problem or find a meaningful solution, then just cut the scene out altogether, honestly. Speaking of things that should have been cut out, the entirety of Fossil Falls was, in all honesty, a fun little segment that had a nice tribute to Yoshi's Island, and a canon Baby Toad. Can't wait to see him in the next Mario Kart, or Mario Tennis, along with the sweet moment between Mario and Peach. It wasn't necessary for this movie. It's kind of frustrating having to say that, because there were much cooler things that could have happened between the UFO fight and getting to Planet Bowser. One being involving the UFO more. We barely see the inside of it outside of Junior mysteriously having both the Flood and the Poltergust 3000. Missed opportunity to have EGAT tied up somewhere, honestly. On the subject of Junior, I will say, he was not that bad overall. I like how he sounds like a teenage Koopa. I feel like it suits him in this movie, and you really can't go wrong with him using his paintbrush. Really glad to see him go back to his roots in cool ways outside of just the clown car, and his relationship with Bowser is really wholesome. Gotta love a villain father-son dynamic that isn't depressing or toxic. What is depressing is Bowser's so-called story arc. Why build up an entire morality and friendship for Bowser to gain, even contending with Junior's actions, if he'll just throw it all away when he sees his army? I honestly thought he was gonna have to face his son and try to convince him to stop, but no. At the very least, make it all seem like a ruse if you want to solidify his villainy. There wasn't even a really good reason he turned back. In fact, there's more reasons for him to convince Junior. Why not integrate a plot like that? It wouldn't be the first time he shocked his minions. He did it in the last movie when talking about the princess. It's just wasted potential that looks baffling. Yoshi, on the other hand, is not baffling, and he's actually very charming in this movie. I just wish he had more stuff to do alongside the bros. And we never really see Toad finally accepting Yoshi. So strange they forgot about that. Rosalina is another new character thrown into the mix. I mean, after all, it is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? So at the very least, they'll have one of the main characters of that game serve a... She only does stuff in the beginning and end. I feel a very big sense of dissatisfaction when they made the same mistake of turning a major character into a MacGuffin. And Rosalina, who played a big role in the game, mind you, really got the short end of the stick. My only guess for this choice was probably due to her powers. Thus, they worried she'd be kind of broken? But Peach didn't get kidnapped at the beginning of the first one, and she was seriously broken. And it's not like you couldn't work around that anyway. Or heck, don't make her super powerful. Outside of telekinesis and flying, I don't remember her being able to do this stuff. But at the end of the day, the little screen time she had was amazing and really captured her overall personality. And her fight scene at the beginning was really cool. But it just makes me want more of it. Wart and his gang are kind of the same case, but more so felt more unnecessary than me feeling like I want more. Bringing Wart back after all this time was really cool, and I like his mafia boss character. I just wish it was in a different movie, if that makes sense. We barely got to see Mauser, Claw Grip, or even Birdo really fight Peach at all. Heck, we didn't even get a fight against Wart himself. It's funny to see him fail to a turnip, but I wish they were used somewhere else where they could get a bigger focus than a short side plot. We don't even hear from them after the fact, really. By the way, did they just forget about Triclyde? Why leave him out? Oh well, I guess. Rip Triclyde fans. I think it's quite bold that they actually dunked Bowser in lava. Nor did I even think Dry Bowser was gonna show up. That was chilling. He looks pretty good here too. Not very strong against Mr. Game & Watch though. While I did expect a lot of cameos, Game & Watch really threw me for a loop. And probably because he was the only one that wasn't spoiled preemptively before release. Unlike some characters. Alright, I think it's time to talk about a certain McCloud. Fox McCloud. Fox was, admittedly, a really solid character. He's funny and charming, and he has his cool moments for the little time we see him. His 80s anime-esque segment was really cool to see, and it's probably the most Star Fox representation we've ever seen in this day and age. I like him, and hopefully it means more Star Fox stuff, so just hear me out when I say, why is he here? Normally this wouldn't be a huge issue for me. Fox is essentially Mario and his friends' ride through the galaxy. But you know who else took Mario across the galaxy and guided him on his interstellar journey? The same princess who's currently kidnapped for 90% of the movie. I think people's grievances with Fox have mostly been said and done. But most will simply hype over him and not see the bigger picture. So let me put it this way. When it comes to screen time, who do you think has more? Rosalina, who was a main character from her game? Or Fox, who's here from another game entirely? You might say Fox, right? Well, you're wrong! It's Rosalina who has more. But why? Why does it feel like Fox has more time? Is it perhaps because Fox had a bigger impact in his little time compared to Rosalina? What really solidified this was when Fox drove the Comet Observatory through Planet Bowser's airship defense, like in the game. He basically stole Rosalina's role in the story. Rosalina was a main character, and got nothing. Well, except for one thing. And that's apparently being a sister. Instead of Rosalina's backstory in the game, we learn how Rosalina and Peach are sisters born of Stardust with magic powers, separated because of said powers. I don't really like this. I already wasn't a huge fan of the Rosalina related to Peach theories. In my opinion, Rosalina should be able to rock it as her own character, not having to be tied down to another mainstay character like Peach. However, this was apparently something that was originally planned in the Galaxy game, but got scrapped at the last minute. And you know, I can live with that. It's fine now, even if they probably never bring it up again. I just don't like how it replaced Rosalina's original backstory rather than work around it. And how come Rosalina never bothered to visit Peach again, instead stalking her through a book? How does Peach not remember? Kinda strange if you ask me. I did laugh at the end when the castle was gone, and while I would have preferred a properly animated montage of construction hijinks, at least we got an official SNES Rosalina sprite. But the movie kinda just ended right there after they rebuilt the castle, and it felt so sudden. We didn't even see Rosalina talk to anyone else. And I think that's the thing about this movie. Everything feels so sudden, especially its ending. This movie really does leave me feeling like I want more. I like the Mario and Peach scenes, those were cute. Hopefully they stop being cowards and go all the way. This movie really needed to be longer, and there was just way too much they wanted to do and very little time they could cram it in. And I get that doing a faithful adaptation of Galaxy wouldn't be very fun for them, but why call it the Mario Galaxy movie? It barely had Galaxy stuff in it other than space. I usually do appreciate a story that the movies can call their own. Despite what people say, there is a story here, but what it does lack is direction. When you cram all these games into an already existing story, you don't get a proper anything. Think of all the lost potential in a real Mario Bros. 2 segment, or standalone Yoshi adventure with the babies. All because adapting Mario Galaxy with the same twist you gave the last story didn't seem fun. This leaves me a bit worried for what plans they might have for Daisy. If they sideline Rosalina this much, we may not see much Daisy or some other character. Yeah, hopefully that's not gonna be a trend in these movies. If you're not gonna do something with your characters in captivity, then just cut them. Now you may have just heard a lot of criticism and complaints, but despite all of that, I actually still like this movie surprisingly enough. I kinda like it a bit more than the first one. This movie has so many fun moments. The music sounds great, and watching Mario and friends jump around in these environments was a wild ride. Fight scenes felt epic, and I actually laughed at a lot of jokes. It's just that, weirdly, when the movie finishes, I feel so conflicted. This movie is like the milkshake I drank after watching it. It tastes good in the moment and makes you smile, but leaves you unsatisfied and wanting more when you're done. This movie is fun to watch, but I guess don't expect anything too grand. So overall, pretty fun movie. But please, Nintendo and Illumination, learn how to write movies! Anyway, I just wanted to get all my thoughts out because, man, they have been eating me. So why not tell me what you think? Did you even watch it, or were you just waiting for my opinion? Because if that's the case...
What's wrong with you?
Yo, thanks for watching. Apologies for this video coming out a bit later than expected, but I had a lot of thoughts, so there's that. Hopefully that doesn't become a regular thing. Anyway, the movie overall, it was good. It can be better. But I had fun, and fun is pretty important, I suppose. What about you? Did you have fun with this movie? If so, let me know, and if not, you should also let me know. And be sure to tune in for the next video. I have quite a bit planned. But with that, until then, stay cool, folks. Extra cool.